Traditional search engines are going to be dead within a few years. I want to talk about how we know this and then who the winners and losers are going to be in this shift. And then finally, I'll talk about how you can make sure you're one of the winners. Kevin Indig recently reported that Sundar Pichai, the CEO of Google, says that he sees Google's AI mode replacing traditional search within 2 to 3 years. So that means what we now think of as Google search would just be a separate tab that people can go to. But the default experience would be AI mode, which is a lot like ChatGPT. Google is already experimenting with bringing more and more AI features into the traditional search results page. So it seems like it could happen much faster. So what is this going to mean for websites and small businesses when suddenly people are going to AI to get their answers instead of traditional search engines? I think this shift is going to be a lot like the shift we saw when traditional search engines first came out, except a lot faster. I remember circa 2000, I was in 8th grade, and we would be assigned research papers. And our teachers would have to tell us, you can't use the internet to do the research, of course. You can't trust what's on the internet. You need to go to the library. And everyone kind of accepted that as common wisdom back then. You couldn't trust anything on the internet. You had to drive to the library, find a book, bring it home, and read through it to find information. Nowadays, if someone says they researched something, it's a pretty safe bet that they went to Google. They did a handful of searches, they clicked on some of the links, and they read information from the websites. For about 10 or 20 years, this has been standard practice before making a big decision. But that's all about to change. iPullRank did a study that found that only 4.5% of searches in Google's AI mode result in a single click. I think within a few years, when we hear someone say, I researched something, we'll be able to safely assume that they went to ChatGPT or Google AI mode and typed in 1 or 2 prompts. And I'm not passing judgment. I think as these large language models get better, that will be the best way to do research. But what that means is we're effectively outsourcing our decision making to the large language models. After providing ChatGPT or AI mode, all the relevant context, we'll just trust that they're going to do the necessary research to come back with the best recommendation for us. So the winners in this shift are whoever the large language models recommend, and the losers are everyone else. So how do you make sure you're one of those winners? We don't know how these AI will work in a few years, but I can tell you what's working right now. These large language models still use a search engine under the hood, and so you need to rank in traditional search engines. However, it's not the same as it is today. Instead of doing a single broad search like dentist near me, the way a human might, it'll do up to a dozen very specific searches. And then instead of just looking through the top few results like a human might, it'll look through multiple pages of search results. What this means is that the large language models are considering hundreds of pages before returning a recommendation. And so it's no longer about ranking in position 1 for the most competitive search term. It's about showing up in as many places as possible. So the brands that are going to win from all this are the noisy ones. The ones that are putting out content everywhere they can, that are joining the discussions wherever they're happening. So that's exactly what we're doing for our clients. We're tracking where all these large language models are looking, and we're making sure our clients are represented on as many of the web pages as possible. By the way, if you're interested in keeping up with this stuff, Kevin Indig's newsletter Growth Memo is one of the best out there.